Greetings and welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents an episode, a very special episode of The Corner. Now, you're probably wondering why we're not doing this on Uncivilized Scoundrels. That's because Uncivilized Scoundrels is Thursday night, every other Thursday. Right now, we're not in a hiatus. We're going to still do it every other Thursday, but because we don't have The Mandalorian, I think the next thing that we actually have to wait on is the Visions. Visions actually comes out on May the 4th. We might actually have a special episode of Uncivilized on May the 4th, just depending, because it's going to be kind of strange because Guardians of the Galaxy comes out that night, so it might be a very late episode, but I kind of wanted to get this episode in tonight. Now, this show is going to be, a bit more special, but it's we're going to have a talk. We're going to basically have a talk. Now, it's called The Fandom Awakens. It's basically about, the fandom, me, you, anybody who basically enjoys Star Wars, right? But we know that there's conversations to be had. We know that basically there are individuals out there who have opinions on whether or not, this season of Mandalorian was good. If Star Wars as a whole is in a good space, is it progressive, or is it basically trapped in this little bubble? Is it just, pocketing and shrinking the universe with a lot of negativity? Or if the opinions and the conversations that we have that are constructive are moving that needle forward? These are things that we want to actually talk about now. Mind you, I want to say this. All opinions are welcome. Even you guys in the chat. We can have a really good conversation, but I just want to say, keep it constructive, no negativity, no back and forth. Literally no one needs to get challenged or, anything like that. We welcome the opinions, but the minute it gets out of hand, I will let you know. You'll either get blocked or whatever. I just have to let you know that. It's a shame that we got to say this because it's Star Wars, something that we basically enjoy, but at the same time, we're not naive. We know how the fandom can be, but at the same time, this is constructive. So let's please, I beg you, if you are a fan of the show, if you are a fan of Siskel Cantina or Brother Cousins show, you want to basically make sure that you are keeping it constructive. And on top of that, I have a very special guest. So please honor my special guests when they are here. Be constructive, be welcoming, because you know that this is what this community does. And everybody that actually rocks with me, you know that we always keep it within that spectrum. So thank you very much for being here tonight. It's going to be a great conversation. So let's go. Before I do that, though, let me introduce everybody here with my special guest last. We have my man, my guy, man, Aries. So glad to have you here, man. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Look, I'm just so honored to be on your channel. Always a pleasure to come on here, Lael on the channel. Just coming off of 6 Scale Raw, I've got a refill from the cantina and looking forward to the conversation. I think it's going to be very riveting. I'm really, really Jones about this.
Yeah, man. So glad to have you, bro. I couldn't have the show without having a Hot Toys Wizard in here. Bro. Come on, man. Come on, baby. Is it possible? Is it possible we might have a great conversation tonight? I'll say
yes.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. So we'll definitely have that. Now, next up, we got the smoothest brother this side of the galaxy, man. I mean, we don't call him the space pimp for nothing. Come on, man. Like this guy, like straight up space smoother than the baby's butt all day, every day. My guy, Brother Cousins in the building. What's going on with you, man?
What's good with your partner, man? I am glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me, brother. Man,
definitely, bro.
Gonna have a great conversation tonight, man. I can't wait. I've been thinking about this all week. Been thinking about it all day. So yeah, this is gonna be amazing. Let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Let's go. I'm so glad to actually have you here. And I know you're excited today for multiple reasons, because I know it's a lot of stress off your back because you finally got that Joker 2-pack in. I know you are happy about. There you go, bro. And that box is, what I tell you? What did I tell you?
I'm gonna tell you, that box is ridiculous. It is fucking nuts. I saw it when the DHL driver put it off the truck. He looked at me. He said, "Dude, And I was like, what's up? He was like, bro, I'm so glad you stepped outside. I was like, yeah, I've been waiting. He was like, what you got
Hell
in
yeah.
here, bomb? I was like, maybe.
Yeah. Definitely, man. So glad, bro. I'm glad you got it and safe.
Yes.
And I know you inspected it, but I'm glad that you
did.
got it and everything is cool. So yes, let's go. Next up, my special guest, Appetite for Collecting. Nailed up, been watching, like literally started watching the show. Great content. We linked up. Great. I mean, look, when you love the universe, it just binds everything. What is it? The force. It binds us, it penetrates, it just brings everything together straight up. And it just brought now this individual right now, literally, I love her content. Nilda's in the building. Appetite for Collecting.
Hi,
everybody out there, say a special what up to Appetite Collecting. Nilda is in the building. How are you doing?
I'm good. Like I told you earlier, I'm trying to survive this monsoon that's going on outside my house.
Yeah, is it really bad?
Yeah, it's been, so I live in Florida, so it's been raining like this for like the past 5.5 hours, but we've been getting like this really wicked lightning storm, so it's kind of cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're safe. That's just the main thing. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad your collection is safe.
Stays on.
Exactly. And here's the thing, guys. Like, check this out, right? I'm gonna show you all a little something because this is crazy. When she came in today, I was like, yo, I didn't realize that her shirt matches the background of the actual thumbnail, stars and everything in the back. So she was kind of blended in. It was crazy. It was so dope.
I look like one whole entire figure.
Yes. We got a few people out here saying welcome. Definitely we got Tuli out there. He said Appetite for Collectibles. Welcome, hello, and welcome. Thank you very much for that. We got 16 Salvo who says what up. Definitely. So we got a couple of people in here. And again, this community is definitely welcoming. And at least the people that rock with us, they're extremely welcoming, open to ideas, and they are always there when you need them. So don't be mad and don't be surprised if half the people here just start. If you haven't already, get on over there, find her. Get over there, find her. Instagram, YouTube, find the content right there. It's always good to go. So definitely thank you for.
I gotta say something, Nelda. I just realized I followed your channel about a year now, like when you first, I think when you first,
like when
started.
I first started.
Yes, I just realized. I was like, oh my god, it's you! I remember
this. Yeah, right. Remember that?
I went like afterwards. I went like super hardcore with YouTube in 2020, and then I took like a big drastic break because it was just like. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And then I was diving into like different multi-universes and collecting Star Wars that I was just like, I gotta pick one. I gotta stop.
Yeah. With Star Wars, you can't. Anything that drops normally especially like my girl got me in. Shout out to Latoya T, because she got me addicted to these. She got me addicted to these damn pens. Telling you, I am these fig pens, boy. Like
I got a few back there.
Yo, like it is an addiction. Like literally, it is an addiction. Like you can't just get one. Like there's no such thing as just buying one. Like I'm just gonna be quite honest. There's no such thing as buying one. You see them and you like. I can't tell you how many pens I bought from Celebration. Like that's all I bought. Like was just pens, left and right pens. I was like, yo, I couldn't. They had like some special editions. I just had to grab them. So, yeah.
Hey, I just got to say, Nelda, I just found your channel.
Yes.
Appetite for Collectibles. And is it possible that I just subscribe to it? And I say, yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody out there, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Show us some love. Female in collecting and is doing some things, and that's incredible.
I know. I just hit 2,300 subscribers today, so I was pretty excited about that.
Especially, yes.
I haven't dropped a video in such a long time, and like the last toy hunt video I did like over 2K, and I'm like, I was just being boring. I was like, how did you guys like this?
Why? It's because you're a Star Wars fan. That's what it's about. Like,
straight up says it's because I'm a girl.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's its perks. If you can draw them in, as long as you're positive and you ain't saying no dumb shit, like straight up.
Right.
Some dumb. The shit we was talking about earlier before. Whoever said that, I'm gonna whoop your ass because that was dumb. But it is what it is. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Let's see who we got out in the chat. We got S Beam in the building. Thank you for being here. We got Marco Polo. MB Dyson is out there, single songwriter. I say that when he was young, he used to stand in for Anakin Skywalker. So that's when the figures they use his likeness. We have Eric Hinkie in the building, Second Brothers in the building. Who knows? Second Brother might be popping in. We got MB Tyson, CT603 is out there. AZ Figs is in the building. Who else we got?
I know AZ Figs. Hi.
AZ Figs, yeah, definitely. We got Payton 23. Who else do we got? 16 Salvo is in the building. Fig Life is in the building. Thank you for being here. Late Bloomer is in the building. Who else do we actually got out here? 12-inch Moose Stream is in the building. Thank you for being here. Blitz, he still hasn't told me why. Anyway, Blitz 0065. Like, I still want to know where he got that name from. But Louis Lebitz,
names.
Right? Louis Lebitz is in the building. Paul Morales is in the building. Thank you for being here. Who else do we got? Charlie the Unicorn, of course. Hoth's hometown hero. We just got done streaming with him. Thank you for being here, brother. Who else we got? Ash Chase. Who else is in the building? Uncarded Reviews is in here. Thank you for being in here. We got my baby Latoya T is out there. Hey fam, how you doing, baby? We got the Dockinator, aka what? The Booty King is in the building. Thank you for being here. Yeah, he's Booty King. That's his nickname. We got who else we got out there? Beskar Kid is in the building. You know it ain't a Star Wars party unless Beskar dips in. You know he wants to have this conversation. Jamie Tan is actually out there. Bendu Windu is in the building. Thank you for being there. We got Marco Polo, Collector Joey. Let me see who else do we got here. Rebellion G. Donnie Leopart's in the building. Thank you. Leopard is in the building. Thank you for being here. Boba Fettuccini, Machiavelli the Dawn, Eddie Rodriguez. Let me see here.
I love these names.
Oh my God, yo, you ain't seen a half. You surprised. I'm surprised Smoke Up if you got him in here because you know what I mean.
Real.
Got him. He's always, yeah, right. Let's see who else we got. I think we've covered just about everybody in here. Eddie Rodriguez, yeah. So we got everybody that is supposed to be in here with us now. 16 Shooters in the building. Thank you for being here, my bro, and thank you for being here as always. Mr. McPickle is in here. I ain't seen him in a minute, but thank you for being here, bro. An OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars. That says a lot. Like that name, it always says a lot. It is what it is, man. Definitely all day, every day. And Misfit Wolf is in the building. Toy Box is in the building. Thank you for being here. And what is that? Miami's Nemesis is in here.
Oh, I know him.
Right. Yeah, okay. And yeah, thank you. So everybody, thank you for basically being here. Again, we wanted to have this discussion because I mean, listen, we know like over the years that Star Wars, you know, has been, you know, it's come. There you go. Excuse me. I had to. Oh, there you go. Smoking if you got him in the building.
I had to hit the bong.
Yo, there you
That's
go.
a bong.
That's my man right there.
Like, yo, it ain't a party. Let's see. I'm so glad he's here.
Is he like a genie? Like if you rub the bong, he'll come out.
He said, yo, say my name and I will appear. That's it. Wow. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You evoke him when you say his name. Definitely. So good to have him here. But yes, so again, today we're going to talk about strictly Star Wars. That's what it's all about, man, about the great content that we've actually gotten, the things that we're looking forward to in the future. There's so many things that are actually dropping here. May the 4th, we're going to get Visions, Star Wars Visions, the second season. The first season was incredible. I loved it.
It brought me to tears.
Yes, because it was so good. And the thing is, I love the simple fact that there's so much diversity and they are allowing these artists to really explore. And people who've already seen the second season were like, yo, you are not ready. And I was like, look, I wasn't ready for the first season, so I cannot wait for the second season. So I'm so excited about that. August, you know what we getting. And that's not too far away. You know we getting Ahsoka. and that is definitely not too far away. Aries, I know you are so excited about.
Aries, I'm right with you. As you can see.
Yeah, right.
Wait, hold on. I'll pull this up for you.
Oh yeah, right.
Baby.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
right.
Oh, that's
Nice.
Yeah, right.
She's my baby.
Hell,
She's my
yeah.
baby.
Hell yes. Definitely. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be crazy. Peyton, yes. Tales of the Jedi season 2. I cannot wait for that either. I definitely cannot wait for this. The Acolytes is going to be incredible. I cannot wait for that. We got Skeleton Crew that's going to be dropping. I mean, there's just so much that's actually coming that I cannot wait for. And it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan, not just a collector, but a fan in general that enjoys the IP. With that said, though, we just came off of The Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I didn't think it was the divisive. I loved it. I loved everything that I got from the show. I think that everything from the show made sense based on the narrative and what they were basically trying to convey and where they were going. The promise was for the Mandalorians to take back Mandalore. This is what this season was about.
Yeah.
Taking back Mandalore. So yes, it did deviate from Den's journey because it wasn't just about Den. It was about the Mandalorians. That we talked about this. You said, again, it wasn't Den. When you say Mandalorian, it's not all about Den. It's the Mandalorians in general. It could be male, female. It could be Grogu. It could be anybody. Hell, it could have been about the Mythosaur. You know what I mean? But we know that it is the lore itself, and this is what this season was about. Now, I'll even go on the record to say, was the writing on the show 100%? Nah, wasn't. There were certain missed opportunities, things that they could have done better. But overall, I still enjoyed it. I loved every bit of it. Every episode, I was in it. I dove in it, and I couldn't wait to see what was next. But with that said, if there's a Star Wars property, we all know it is greeted with a bit of negativity. When I say bit, I'm being generous.
Yeah.
I'm being extra generous.
Yeah.
A friend of mine hit me up, and he was like, yo, let me ask you a question. And I didn't think about it until he told me. He said this to me. And this is our guy. You already know him. Useby. Useby hit me up. He was like, yo, let me ask you a question. Do you think that this show would have been divisive to everybody else if it was mainly focused on Den and not Bo-Katan? Because it just seems to me like when it's, and this is just, what he was saying. And I was like, there's a point to be made there. He's like, it just seems like when it's female centered, then all of a sudden the conversation of, oh, well, it's demasculating or it's a woke show now. They need to kind of stay away from that. We talked about this. The word,
I hate that word,
woke, that is being misused.
Completely misused.
It's completely misused. There's no, to know the meaning, and if you really truly know the meaning, then there's no way you can associate that with the content. It doesn't support the argument, to be quite honest. It really doesn't. And also we know that a lot of people were comparing, this season of The Mandalorian to Picard. Now, again, like I told you, I watched Picard. I watched the entire season. I'm like, okay, it was decent. It didn't resonate to me because I'm not a full-fledged Star Trek fan. But with that said, I still enjoyed it. I felt as though it was good, and I have nothing wrong to say about it. I just wish that fans could extend that same courtesy to Star Wars, but they don't. I'm gonna let you go first, Nilda. What you think? What do you think about everything that's going on right now? Even we didn't even actually dive into Celebration yet.
I know.
Just talk about
I was living, by the way, I was living vicariously through you, my friend Austin, or our mutual friend Austin, like two other buddies of mine. So I was there, but not there at Celebration.
Yeah.
Just overall with The Mandalorian, like, don't get me wrong, everybody has their own opinions. There was certain things that I didn't like about the final episode. I just wanted to see the damn mythosaur. Like, I wanted him to come out and like eat somebody or something. But that's all the only thing I was upset about. But you know, they kind of like showed you that, you know, Grogu kind of has maybe they're linked together, because as soon as he was approaching the water, you know, he was waking up. But overall, you know, I loved it being just all about the Mandalorians. I have like a huge Mando shrine here and there on the bottom. But you know, everybody has that mindset that the show was supposed to be about Din, and it wasn't. I think it was either Filoni or Favreau had said it in an interview, saying that the word "the Mandalorians" is about all of them. It's not just showcasing one. Yes, we did get introduced to one specific character in the beginning of the show, but it grew, and you got to learn about what the whole culture was for them. And I sincerely loved the final episode. I think I watched it twice and probably teared up the first time, because I love seeing just all of them coming together. And plus, I thought Sasha Banks was super hot, just like flipping around, shooting people. Like, that was the best move you could see.
I mean, it was so. I loved the simple fact that it was. And here's the thing about this season. You know, it was sort of like I said about the continuation from the last episode, the last season, what was it? The rescue from, you know, season 2. And how they showcased those characters. It wasn't forced. It just made sense. Din had his space to shine. Bo-Katan, Koska Reeves had their space to shine. You know, Fennec had her space, you know, to definitely shine. I keep forgetting her name because we haven't seen her in an entire season, and things happen, and that's why she isn't here.
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune. She got busy, and I think that everything worked. But I think that same incentive was carried on in this season, because it wasn't just a female-centered show. It was both male and female working together for a common cause, which was taking back the Mandalore. You know what I mean? The Mandalorian. I mean, or Mandalore itself. And I enjoyed it. You know, we had it I mean, spoiler alert for people who didn't watch it. We had the sacrifice of Paz Vizsla. You know what I mean? Which, if you have that figure, keep it. But yes, keep it. But we had that sacrifice, and I think it was just really, really poetic. But the way these characters work together, I didn't think it was forced. But of course, it is. And if you think it was more so about, you know, Bo-Katan, it was a redemption story for her. It was a redemption story for her clan, her family, the family name, the Kree's family name. You know, we're seeing basically her evolve from the person that we actually knew from Clone Wars, you know, to the person that we actually see now, who's no longer selfish, but selfless when it comes to making sure that everybody, you know, everybody survives, everybody is around, and that Mandalore can flourish. You know, Jay, what did you think about this, you know, incident, man, the season itself, bro?
I want to hit a couple of points on this, because great question, great panel, great discussion. Well, I'll just say what I thought overall about the season. I loved it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Anytime my girl Katie Sackhoff just gets her shine, is just amazing. It's just amazing. She's an amazing actress, and great in this role. And it was great before even taking this role. It was great before that. That's my girl. You know it.
I knew he was going to say that.
You know that's my girl. Don't even fight. Don't even fight. You know that's my. You know even my wife knows. So, let me tell you something. When I first met her in 2018 at a Comic-Con, I remember, and I loved her at that point. She was just Starbuck, and I remember talking to her about. I was like, yeah, man, I heard rumors that you wanted to play Harley Quinn back in the day. She said, yeah, I was up for that, but we all know who got it, and she's doing a good job with it. But she was like, I was really hurt that I didn't get Captain Marvel. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. I was like, that would have been perfect as Captain Marvel from the whole, you know, Battlestar thing. She would have been great. And then, all these years later to see her as Bo-Katan
Yeah.
reprising the character that she's always been Bo-Katan. So it's just great to see her in this role and her to get this shine and her to have this big arc this season was amazing. I loved her story, loved her character. Her and Paz Vizsla was the MVPs of the season, in my opinion. Absolutely. I love what they did with her story. Now, with that being said, I do kind of feel that this story that they told was almost like a season 4. It almost felt like they skipped a season. And that's because of where we left off in season 2. And I think that was the biggest problem with a lot of people. It's not what the season wasn't what they expected. I think they were expecting to see a little bit more, Luke and Grogu play. And I know we got that in Book of Boba, which is why I think things became a little disjointed. And I was hearing behind the scenes, there was things there with it that what's his name? Happy Hogan. I forget his name. I'm forgetting his name. Favreau wanted
John
to go
Favreau, yeah.
John Favreau wanted to go in one direction and Kathleen Kennedy wanted to go into another. So it was a little bit of back and forth there. And I think that's why we got what we got in Book of Boba Fett and what we got in this season of Mandalorian. It was kind of disjointed that way. And that's what I think people were a little bit like, wait a minute, what about the Grogu and training with Luke and all that? And I mean, yes, you had to watch Book of Boba Fett to get that, but I think people were expecting to get a little more of that story. But we got a story that was about the Mandalorians and the reclaim of Mandalore and all of them being unified, which is honestly a very beautiful story, and very condensed. It was in its, and that's what I expected. After watching it a little bit, I was like, and I remember saying this to Aries a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think we're gonna get a real self-contained story. That's what it came up to be. And you know what? That's good. That's fine. That is fine to have a self-contained story because they want to push these characters. These characters need room to breathe. If you have like Luke and and Boba Fett and all these guest appearances coming in, these characters don't grow. They can't flesh out and be their own thing. So that aspect of it was great. Now I just want to address real quick the whole thing about Picard. I watched Picard. I love Picard. The writing on Picard was stellar. Terry Matalas did his thing. But here's the thing. I think it is unfair to compare both of those shows because when you look at Picard, this is something that a lot of TSG fans have been waiting for a long time, to get this ensemble back together and to tell and to finish off Picard's story. That was that was something years in the making. It was beautiful that we got that. I wish we had got that in the sequel trilogy, but that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother story. We're talking about Mando right now. So, but to compare those two, I get it. Now, I come from a creative background, like a lot of us here have creative backgrounds. I had to cut my teeth in writing scripts or being a creative or even just being, doing graphic design in art school. My ass was constantly kicked. So yes, I demand a lot from my entertainment. I do. And I do think certain aspects in The Mandalorian, the writing was a little off. I do feel that in certain episodes it was, but I do think it stuck the landing overall. But if I compare the writing to the first 2 seasons, there was some problems there, but I wouldn't call it a bad season. Is it my favorite season? It's my favorite. Certain aspects of it is my favorite season, but right now I do think season 2 would be my favorite season of Mando. Of all the 3, I'm not going to say this is the weakest, but in my opinion, I think they could. The biggest thing is, I think they just need more episodes. I think this could have if they just would have had a few more episodes, I think they would have been able to flesh out a lot of stuff. Like Nella said, the whole thing about the Mythosaur, I would have loved to see the Mythosaur, but I guess they realize if we're going to show the Mythosaur, we really got to show it. We don't want to, cheap out on it. So they took the best approach with the just, give us that little bit with him and Grogu at the end. But I do think there was opportunities missed in this season, but overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give the season an 8 because the story that they did tell was good.
Yeah. Aries, we're hearing a lot of, and you guys hear this. We hear this all the time. It's like, okay, this season fell short of the expectation because a lot of people had expectations build up. We hear it all the time, like speculations. Oh, I think Han and Leia are going to show up. I think Luke is going to actually be in this. I think that we might have actually we might see Fennec Shan and Boba Fett show up to save the day. Hell, we might even see Kyle Kestis. Like literally a lot of that came into play. You feel me? But also because people felt as though the season didn't live up to what they expected. The go-to is always, oh, Star Wars is in a bad place. Like we hear it all the time. Star Wars is in a bad place because of somebody's interpretation of whether or not the season lived up. And I'm like, where are you getting this from? where is this? Is it just because you want to see it fail? Literally, and I'm Jay. I'm glad you touched on the comparison between Star Trek Picard and Star Wars. They're two totally different IPs, both in space, both, whatever, we understand that. But to compare them both, like, nah, you can't do that. Comparison. And the thing is, as a Star Wars fan, watching Picard, I really liked it because it was substance in the story, and I thought the writing was and it was incredible. Based on what I've heard about season 1 and season 2, the writing in this one was incredible. And I'm like, I applaud the simple fact that it's seeing that level of success because it needed. But it's like, not all, but there's a lot of Star Trek fans that won't extend that same courtesy. There's a lot of fans who are fans of both who won't extend that same courtesy to Star Wars. So Aries, I asked you like your feelings on the season itself, but overall, just like this narrative that just because the season isn't 100% the way people wanted to be, that Star Wars is doomed. How do you feel about that, bro? Well, and before you do that, really quick, a $2 super chat by my man Hoff's Hometown Hero. Expectations is the thief of joy. You are exactly right.
Great quote.
That is a great. You know what? I'm Hofftown. Sorry, man. I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna give you credit. But I'm gonna use that tonight. Thank you for that. But go ahead.
I'm gonna one up them because you guys brought up a good point. I'm gonna one up them. Killing Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi and doing what they did in The Last Jedi is the thief of joy. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Why are people so quick to jump on? There's only one thing that ever upset me with Star Wars. And don't get me wrong, I like The Last Jedi movie. In a lot of ways, I love The Last Jedi movie. But there was only one thing I ever hated in Star Wars. And that's what they did to Luke Skywalker. Are they dealing with repercussions of it? Did people jump on the hate train? Look, yes. I will say this: we got to be careful as human beings to not jump on a hate train. We need to be human beings. We need to just be a good person. And if you don't like something, it's like if you don't want to listen to this music. I don't like classical music. I don't like heavy metal. I don't like rap. I don't like country. Great. Good. Go live your life. You enjoy it. I'll enjoy what I want. You don't have to have hatred towards it. Let's grow up, people. Exactly. We're not in second grade. That's number one. It was Luke. And because the hate was so bad, I mean, I've never seen, and I dare say, if the internet was on when Ahmad Best and one of the best things, one of the best things that happened in this season, was seeing Keller and Beck come in like that, and kudos to that for what he went through and the Phantom Menace, which I saw 8,923 times probably. I love the show, but the Luke was even worse. What happened there? And they made a huge boo-boo with this. And that's why in season 2, they went the way that they did to kind of correct the course of this. Look,
Mhm.
there's so much to say here. I folks, this is a television show. I'm gonna break this down for you. This is a lighthearted family television show. You got young kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, watching this. You want to compare it to Smallville, the original Battlestar Galactica, Walker, Texas Ranger. Look, those shows I just mentioned, they're not real high level intellectual thought shows. You're going to get a lot of young kids that are going to watch those shows and are going to pick up. If you watch the first 33% of Return of the Jedi, it is like watching John Denver and the Muppet Show because it is just a bunch of puppets and
Mhm.
fun, and kids like it. Star Wars,
Mhm.
don't compare this to, like you ever hear you say, some people are comparing it to Picard. That's
Mhm.
like comparing it to Andor.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's too mature. You're not going to get
Mhm.
a 7-year-old that's going to watch that. They want to see
Mhm.
Grogu lift up a frog. They want to see Jabba the Hutt go, ho, 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 ha, ha, ha. You didn't see that in freaking Picard.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that in a more mature show. So not only is it not fair, Jay, not to compare it, it's kind of really unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
same thing at all. And this is very lighthearted. It's very,
Yeah.
I could sit back from a hard day at work, exercising a lot of mental energy, dealing with
Mhm.
all the things I got to deal with in my spreadsheets, dealing with
Mhm.
all the mitigations I got to do with different
Mhm.
stakeholders and different companies and whatnot. And if I want to sit down and watch Andor or watch a show like that, I have to have a certain mindset. But sometimes I just want to sit my ass down and I just want to watch something simple like
Mhm.
Smallville. And look,
Mhm.
that had 10 seasons. And you can
Yeah.
say, well, season 6 was better than 2, or season 9 sucked. It's over. Well, no, it's not. You're going to get a season 10. This is The Mandalorian. It's a simple little Western show. And it's not meant to be very, very deep, guys. And you got a little green guy there, lifting up frogs and not saying a whole lot and goo gooing and gagan. Let's go ahead and get real with this.
Yeah.
I think what happened here is what happened with The Last Jedi and with Luke. And people are looking for any opportunity to say, Star Wars. Star Wars is back. Star Wars is in a huge way. Star Wars is the biggest ticket on Earth right now. They could have
Mhm.
had with this season Grogu just sit there all 8 episodes, all 8 chapters, stare into the camera and be as boring as Tom Hanks in Castaway with Wilson and do nothing else and have no dialogue, like and people would be outraged. And you know what? Season 4 would get great ratings, and it wouldn't hurt anywhere near as much as what they did with Luke Skywalker, controversial wise, as they
Mhm.
did with The Last Jedi. So there's nothing in trouble. There's nothing wrong. It's a TV show. Maybe season 4 will be better. Maybe it won't be better. Maybe it'll
Mhm.
tick somebody off.
Mhm.
Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll compare it to, ER, emergency room. Maybe it'll compare it to
Mhm.
Law and Order. Maybe Picard. Who gives a crap? It shouldn't compare to that anyway. I don't want it to be like that.
Yeah.
Maybe compare Picard to Andor and talk to me.
Yeah.
Or
That's a good
compare Law and
comparison.
Order.
Yep.
It's the Mandalorian. It's going to be
Yep.
very, very light. It's going to be action. How many times did I watch Smallville or the original Battlestar, and be like, well, that didn't make sense. Well, that's stupid. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. I'm just sitting there with my popcorn and I'm drinking over here, and I don't want to think too much. With
Yeah.
Andor, I got to think.
You gotta think.
I almost gotta like do a little bit of math equations before I watch that show.
Yeah.
I've
Maybe
been
we
trying to
coffee.
watch that show now for the 5th time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so
I
and it's
loved it.
meant for that. So
Yeah.
here's the thing, Leo. I loved this season 3. I thought it was way better than season 1. I thought season 1 was good because it was refreshing from what we saw in the sequels. Season 2 was about a lot of redemption. It was about bringing in Boba Fett. It was about showing how Favreau and Filoni were committed to the new direction Disney was going. You got Ahsoka
Mhm.
Tano. You
Mhm.
got the mention of Grand Admiral Thrawn. You got
Mhm.
Boba Fett put back in there. You got Luke Skywalker. You got Bo-Katan. It was absolutely amazing, and they needed to do that, but you didn't even need them in this season because
Yeah.
everybody and their brother and their sister and their uncle and their aunt knows Luke Skywalker's back in Disney. Okay,
Hmm.
so why do you got to put him in here? We already know he's coming. You already know Boba Fett's in the universe. Okay, so you already know he's there. So you don't need all these guys in there. You needed it in two to show people, hey, we're not going the way of the sequels. We're going a new direction. But you
Right.
don't
Yeah.
really need all these guys
Nah.
in season three. So I thought it was great. And honestly, I don't mean to say it like so. I don't really care if season three was better than two or one. I'll tell you what the ending showed me with them sitting there and Grogu lifting up the frog and he's got his feet up and he's sitting in the hut. Not only are they going to do season four, they're probably going to do 8 or 9 seasons of this thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be over and over and over
Mhm.
again. You're going to have so many spin-offs and they're just committed to it.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is hot. I can't wait to get into the celebration conversation because I got a lot of
Yeah.
thoughts on that. But
Yeah.
honestly, I really think it was what happened with Luke, and you know, But I don't really see the comparisons. I just think it's a simple show. And I
Yeah.
thought it was good.
Yeah. And I think again, with the Mandalorian, again, space opera. We're watching a progressive, and they did hint at the end of this season, where Grogu and Den's journey is going. We're again, I think that it is going to get back to the essence of what we got in season one, season two, is that they had to deviate because again, I was watching, uh Chris Harloff today, and Katie Sackhoff was there, and she was talking about the simple fact that, you know, Dave Filoni and John Favreau's objective was to build this world, establish this world. And on top of that, they're navigating it to this episode was part of a bigger picture. And that bigger picture itself was, again, they're taking back Mandalore, but for a reason, because they have to, because Mandalore is going to play a role into what's to come. Everything that we're
Hmm.
actually going to see in Favreau's universe going forward with his film. So this is being built up for a reason. A lot of this is actually happening because again, everything is interconnected. We see, this, we're getting, basically the Mandalorian. We know that from Mando, what we're going to actually get next is Ahsoka. You know what I mean? We know that we're basically going into Ahsoka and how that is building up, to Heir of the Empire with Thrawn. They basically made sure that they mentioned Thrawn this season again in The Mandalorian, and we know that's going to be carried over into Ahsoka. The world building is there. The thing is, it's like we always talk about, and I'm going to pass this on to you to know this well. Like we talk about this, right? How us as fans, we want progression, right? We
Hmm.
want something different. Now they talked about how we know where it's an end of an era. We're not going to be tackling the Skywalkers anymore, and I'm happy with that because it's not shrinking the universe, and we're going to get something different. I had my fill of the Skywalkers. Hell, 1977, I was there. I've
Mhm.
watched it. I want Star Wars to expand, and a lot of us do. We always say we want what's different. We want something more. We want, the universe to expand. We want different stories to be told. Hell, I am still erring on the side that I do want a Knights of the Old Republic. Hell, hopefully sometime they'll explore that because it was
Yep.
so important. I love that game. But again, we talk about we want it to be expansive. But what happens is when we get that and we don't understand it or it doesn't go our way, then what happens is people normally retreat back to what is known and what's comfortable. Or well, they didn't do this, or they would never do that in Star Wars. And then we're taking, for every 2 giant steps we take forward, we take 13 steps backwards when those things are said. What do you think about that?
Wow, you just laid it on there really tough. No, I agree with you. I think some of us were not tired, but we were just like ready for something new, as
Hmm.
opposed to it being, continuously of like the Skywalker legacy.
Hmm.
I'm 100% with you when it comes to Knights of the Old Republic. I freaking played that game too many times. I broke my computer because of it. Um, and I just want one of those. I've even wanted like a Force Unleashed movie. I want Star Killer.
Oh my
You know,
God.
Yeah.
And they
I
had the
want
nerve
Star
to,
Killer.
yeah. They had the nerve to name that Star Killer base. That's what pissed me. But go ahead.
I
Keep
know.
talking.
Right.
No,
Go
don't get me
ahead.
wrong. I met Sam at one of the conventions, and like me and my two other buddies just kept saying to him every time, we're like, when is Star Killer coming? When is Star Killer going to be in a live action? And he just kept making this face like this. But I love the universe on how it's going right now. And, when my buddy FaceTimed me for the Star Wars celebration and they released Ahsoka's trailer, and the moment I heard Heir to the Empire, I threw everything on the floor. I ran into my toy room. I grabbed my Heir to the Empire comic and I held it up like Mufasa was, or Rafiki was holding up Simba. I literally was like, I've been waiting for somebody to say this line for a long time, and they finally freaking say it. And you knew it. Like, we've been wanting something with Thrawn for the longest time. Timothy Zahn has been wanting something with Thrawn as live action for the longest time. So I'm 100% with the direction on how Star Wars is going right now. We're channeling into different universes, and it's just to keep our minds fresh. We don't want our minds continuously always just being, the original 3 or, the sequels, the prequels and all this stuff. And then everybody getting upset on how the direction of everything is going. I remember when Visions first came out, everybody was like, oh, Chinese or, Japanese animation, not really feeling it. And then it ended up being such an impeccable show.
Yeah.
Everybody, when The Mandalorian first came out, not a lot of people were too thrilled about it until they dive deep into the show. So it's like, we want new things. Like, look, we're getting a live action of freaking basically Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for anybody who's watched Rebels, I have the whole entire thing on DVD still. It's something that you want to see as a live action film. So I love the way that this whole direction is going with brand new stuff. Hopefully, like I said, in agreement to you, hopefully they drop off, Knights of the Old Republic, and then that will probably get everybody to shut up for probably a little bit.
God. Like, and the thing is, when you bring up Star Killer, I'm like, Sam Witwer is still in his prime. He's still healthy.
He could still scream.
He can still scream. Like, literally, the character was designed after him. Like, literally, his likeness and everything. We could get this person. It's like, come on, man. It would make, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I just say this because, Jay, I'm gonna go to you, is because like, look at the content that, bro. Like, listen. The minute that they showed this trailer at Star Wars Celebration, the ovation, I could hardly hear myself after the yelling, the scream, everybody. And bro, when they said Heir to the Empire and they seen the back of Thrawn's head, people were like, what?
I was crying like a 5-year-old.
Are they really doing this? Are they really doing this? Are they really doing this? And it just made so much sense when it was, just seeing these characters, seeing Sabine, seeing Hera, basically seeing Chopper, seeing that, Mon Mothma in this show, the back of Thrawn's head, 2 new characters to be expected. And it's like, it was so it endearing, and it was exciting to see. My thing is, even as excited as I am right now, Jay, it's going to come with a lot of expectation.
Yes.
And if those expectations aren't met, if you don't meet these fans, these really committed fans, like, almost cult of fans, if you do not appease them, all hell is going to break loose, because what it's going to retreat to. Okay. And the thing is, somebody said this. Okay. And I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to say any names. But do you notice somebody blamed, like, for instance, and I'm just going to bring this up really quick and then I'm going to move on from it.
Yeah.
The episode on The Mandalorian with Lizzo and Jack Black. Okay. It wasn't the most liked episode.
Yeah.
And we know that. We know a lot of people had their say about it.
Yep.
somebody on my Facebook page, and when he said it, I bet you he's going to regret saying it because he got roasted. But he said, that's what you get when you let a female direct it.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wow. That's
Mind you, we're talking about who?
Bryce
Dallas
Howard.
Who
Hollywood
directed
Hollywood
royalty.
Bryce.
That's terrible.
It's such a terrible statement. I mean, it's just so.
This is what you get
Jesus.
when you let a
Return of
female.
the hold on, the
direct it.
return. I gotta jump on the Return of the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That one episode in Book of Boba Fett, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep.
Some of the best Star Wars ever made.
Ever made.
I'm just going to lay that right there.
Here's my Bobas right here, man.
Yeah. Some of the best Star Wars ever made. So that's ridiculous.
Does that guy even know his history with Star Wars? Because, you know, if it wasn't for George Lucas's ex-wife, Empire.
Tell him. Hold up. Before
Empire and Return of the Jedi. Listen, I got some real stuff here. I got to sign Marshall
Talk
Lucas.
to him. Talk to him. Tell him.
If it wasn't
Tell
for
him.
Marshall
They don't
Lucas,
know. They don't know. You better tell them. You
if it
better
wasn't
tell
for
them.
Marshall Lucas, Star Wars wouldn't be where it was. Yes, I love this movie, and the only thing I've ever taken away from the quotes of this movie. So yes, men are the head of the household, but the women, we are the neck, and we will turn this wherever we want. So homie needs to do his research, and he needs to know that, you know, Star Wars is what it is because there was a female there.
Yes,
my girl pulled out receipts on y'all. She
just put out big receipts.
I was like, wait a second, Marshall Lucas is right next to me, so I'll just show this to you guys.
She put out receipts. She pulled out a receipt to let you know. Yes. Okay.
She did Empire and Return of the Jedi. Like, how are you gonna diss females with writing? Oh wow.
Say it again. Donnie Bleepart, say it again. The editor always saves the cut.
That's right.
Exactly, brother.
Real shit. Yes.
Exactly, brother. Yes. That's some real shit. Yes. And so for you to basically make that comment, or for that was a comment that, and here's the reason why I bring that up, Jay, is because we know that with that basically being said, right? If for some particular reason the Ahsoka show doesn't live up to certain expectations, we're going to hear, oh, it's too woke, or that's because it's women centered.
Nobody better talk shit about my baby Rosario Dawson.
I second you on that. That's
my love.
Another national treasure. Straight up. Another one. See, the thing is with that, and this is funny because that's why, you know, and I'll tell y'all a little I don't want to get off on a rant or be long-winded here, but there was a time in Second Brother, he's in the chat, he'll tell you there was a time where I backed away from Star Wars. It was and it was a little after Revenge of the Sith. I had it. I was like, I'm done. And during that time, I know there was the Clone Wars, and there was a lot of good anime. It was a lot of good animation, a lot of good programming. A lot of these characters were kind of birthed around that time. So, but I walked away. I sold my lightsabers and everything.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why is because I just had it. I was just like, okay, it's just so much negativity. I liked the Revenge of the Sith. I liked a lot of the prequels, but at that time, I was like a lot of people. I was like, hey, the original Star Wars is my jam, and that's just what it is. Then Disney bought it, and I was like, wait a minute, Disney bought it. They're probably going to do a whole bunch. They're probably going to do like, they're going to probably do like the Dark Empire. They're probably going to do like all this other stuff. We're probably going to get all these different characters, and then they started talking about the new movies coming out, and I was like, damn, okay. This sounds good. Okay, we got these new characters. Okay, cool. And it's going to be like sequels of the Star Wars movie, of the original Star Wars. This is going to be great. And I started buying it. I bought all my lightsabers back. I fell back in love. Hot Toys started doing figures. I fell right back in love with Star Wars again. Right back in love with it again. all the negativity does wear you down after a while, and it wears me down after a while. It's like, damn, it's like, come on, can we just come together and like this shit, And I get it. Some of the writing sometimes it's kind of like it can be questionable. I get it, but none of this shit is Shakespeare. I'm just gonna say none of it is Shakespeare. None of it is. Okay.
Yeah.
First Star Wars isn't Shakespeare. Okay. I love it. It's great stories, but none of it is this. I think we put a lot in our own heads and the expectations with everything, and even with Ahsoka here. From what I heard, Ahsoka wasn't. I was like I said, I was away from Star Wars at that time. But when she first came on the scene, she wasn't liked.
She was hated.
She was hated.
She was definitely hated. The whole Sky Guy thing and all that other stuff. It was hated. And then once beloved.
She's the most like the third, one of the highest, most popular Star Wars character out there at one point. I think the third most popular at one point. So I do think they do have to come with it as a creator. They have to come with it. And I think what people get upset about is when it's half-hearted. And I don't think we've seen anything too half-hearted outside of certain things that were done in the sequels. I'll say that. But I do think they're going to go at this is hard as they can and really give us something that's amazing and groundbreaking, because they really want this to work. They want this to be great. They want this to be a good show. And the whole thing of it is I loved Rebels. So getting a live action Rebels I think it's going to be amazing. But the negativity, yes, we're going to hear it. We're going to hear some stuff. And there's going to be people that, that throw the woke word around, which makes me sick to my stomach because it's not used. And I think a group of people heard it, probably heard it on Fox or whatever, and was like, oh, woke. And it's like, no, they're just using this. They don't even know what that word really represents and really what it means. So it's the truth, So they really have to. I mean, like I said, I can understand certain things, especially when writing is lackluster. But give it time to develop. That's my. Give it time to develop. Let these shows be with it. Before Mando wasn't even over, and people's like, "Oh, this is some shit. Oh, this wasn't good." Oh. I'm like, let's get to there. Okay, some episodes weren't what they weren't probably of this. They probably weren't what the last two seasons were. Okay, but let's just give it. I know people didn't like the Jack Black character. They didn't like the Lizzo character. I get it, but let it develop. Those are guest appearances. It happens in TV. It's and these people are fans of the shit. So let them have it. It's not a big deal. I think we just get too much into our own heads with this shit. And the thing of it is, I mean, some of it is hard to blame the fans. It's hard. It is kind of hard to blame the fans with it at times, because this is something that we all love. And a lot of us, this is kind of religion to us. In a way, it kind of is. It's that sacred to us. We dress up in these characters. We spend all types of enormous amounts of money playing vacations, everything all around these characters. So yes, we're going to demand, the best from it. But I do think when you have all that, when you're under all that pressure and you are creative, it gets real hard. And you don't want it to be to a point where some of these creators are like, Star Wars shit, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to get death threats. Shit, you don't want it to be like that either. So we have the fandom, and the creators have to come to some type of happy medium with this. Like, okay, we're going to treat your characters with respect and give you dope ass writing, but also give us a little lenience at times with certain things too, because we want to have time to develop these stories. And you're right, not all of this shit is just for us, 30 and 40-year-olds. It's not, and 50 and 60-year-olds. Some of this stuff is aimed towards children, the next generation. I remember when the prequels came out, yes, we were talking shit, man. The prequels, I remember I was in college at the time, and I had a guy do a whole presentation about how the prequels were shit compared to the original. And then now I look at the prequels, and it's a whole generation that was brought up on the prequels. And even I went back and was like, damn, now it makes sense. looking at it all in hindsight, everything Lucas was doing, some things were still kind of weird, but it makes sense. And I see the direction. Okay, I got it. Okay. So I think some things it may not be for you in that moment, but it may come back. And then for some people, it's just like, hey, the first 3 movies, that's my Star Wars. That's it. And that's fine too. That's something for them. They don't have to buy into all that. You don't have to like all of it. There's some, I love Marvels. I love the Marvel and MCUs, but there's certain Marvel properties and shows that I don't watch, that I didn't get to see watch. That doesn't mean I'm never going to watch them again. I may watch them later and be like, damn, that wasn't too bad. I've done it. So you know, we just have to really give some space to each other, creators and the fandom.
And you know what's the crazy part? I thought about this. It is like people really went at George Lucas when not just mainly for the prequels, but it took one word to really divide the community. One word. This is a word that came from the creator himself because of his understanding of the lore and where he wanted it to go. Midichlorians.
Oh,
like literally, look, as much as people don't like it, this is the creator, George Lucas. This is his vision, and for people to tell him he's wrong, like really, I never understood that. I really never understood that. The idea that this man had a vision. His vision for Star Wars being told by his interpretation because he wrote this shit and created these characters. But for people to tell him he was wrong for creating how? That's just like, yo, me, like literally, that's just like me telling Jesus you were wrong for creating them sandals, bro. Why did you even wear those? You feel me? Like, I'm going to question Jesus for wearing sandals. Like literally, this is shit. Like literally, like bro, it didn't make sense to me and it still doesn't. But this is how far people will go. They will. Aries, I'm going to lead into this with you, right? Because I'm going to bring something up because we're going to go here now. Now we're going to go here. All right.
Take me there, baby.
This is the slate. We have Filoni, right? We have James Mangold, and we have Obi Chinoy, all right? Filoni, who's directing the Mandoverse, he's basically bringing the Mandoverse to the main screen. He's building up a world, part of which was this season of Mandalorian. Mangold, who's basically creating the Dawn of the Jedi. He's basically going to go back to when the first Jedi were there and affiliated or created. So we're going to start there with him, which a lot of people are extremely excited. If you don't know James Mangold, we're talking about Ford v Ferrari, Logan, definitely Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma, an incredible director, right? We have Obi Chinoy, who basically gave us Miss Marvel. She's a hell of a director, like a hell of a writer. She's incredible, right? She's going to basically bring back the new Jedi Order with Rey. Looking at all of this, right? Which one's the most divisive?
We all know.
No,
Which one's the most divisive? Now, mind you, motherfuckers haven't even seen the film yet. Motherfuckers haven't seen the film yet. Haven't even heard the synopsis yet. They know that, okay, you know basically it's the new Jedi Order, but you don't know where it's going. You haven't seen it on screen yet. You haven't given it a chance yet, right? But that's the most divisive. Why is it the most divisive, you might ask?
Because of Rey Skywalker.
Because of this one right here. Because of the interpretation. Because of this girl right here. This woman right here, right? Daisy Ridley, who brought, and mind you, Jay, in Aries, I've told you, regardless of what we actually saw on screen with the sequels, right? regardless of what we got. And I think that The Force Awakens set up something that was great. I was excited to see that film. I love The Force Awakens. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Love the film because I love where it's set up. Now they just dropped the ball with the other two films. We know that. We discussed that. But I was excited about Rey's character. I love this character.
Mm-hmm.
But the most divisive because Nilda, you know what came out of this? Woke.
Oh yeah.
Wokes. I haven't seen the term Mary Sue used so much with a character, right? Like literally, I haven't seen it used so much. This is what people don't get, right? It starts with the writer, then it's the director, and then those interpretations. The director directs, the writer writes. So the lines that are basically delivered by this actress was written for her. The direction was by the director. But people weren't really attacking them like they were attacking her. Right?
You know, here's the thing, bro. I couldn't be more. First of all, with those three films, it's never been a better time in my view to be a Star Wars fan than right now, in my opinion. And I think it's just awesome. You know, when I look at this here, and talking about Daisy Ridley, I couldn't be happier. One of my most favorite characters in Star Wars. I'm so happy for her. So happy that they're bringing her back in, and her story will continue. You know, she has a great story for Star Wars fans, for this generation, just like the fans of the prequels, and fans like me who grew up with the original trilogy. Yeah, she's a character I fell in love with. She's a good person. The character shows her heroism and how she would help people, and aspire to be a human being like her. I think she's phenomenal. Again, I'm going to circle back to what they did, what they decided to do with Luke. The problem was not with Daisy Ridley. The problem was not with Snoke getting cut in half. People were losing their minds. I can't believe that Snoke got cut in half. No one gives a shit about Snoke. They cared that Luke milked a cow. They cared that Luke threw his lightsaber over the mountain. They cared that Luke died because he wanted to actually stay in Star Wars, where no one cared that Harrison Ford did, because everybody knew that he really just wanted Han Solo to die. Please kill me. Give me 40 million. I'll come back. That was fine. It was just a bad decision.
Yeah.
This Daisy, it could have been. It's really just. I'm so glad that she's back. And if you flash back up on the other screen, I can tell you what they're doing, in my view. This is where I really think with the three movies.
Okay.
The one movie on the with this one. So the two movies on the ends are both going to have Grogu in it. So that's what they're doing here. And I really believe that's the real reason why the one film about the pilot was postponed, because you can't put out a Star Wars movie about the future with every grandpa and every grandma and every aunt and uncle and every little kid saying, "Is Grogu in it? I really don't care. Is Grogu in it?" and not come out, because that's going to hurt them, because that is the biggest cash cow in recent modern history. It just plain, it just is. So it's going to be it's going to be in Filoni's movie, and what they're going to do with Rey is they're going to find a way to tie Grogu in. He's 900 years old. He's going to be part of that order long before Rey's gone. And I believe that that's what they're setting up for. The one here is brilliant with James Mangold, because that goes 25,000 years. It's of course you're not going to have Grogu in it. It's and no one's going to expect it in that one. So this is a brilliant strategy, because what they got to do to bring people to the movie theaters for a cinematic event, you want to go ahead and have a movie that does as well as Endgame, a movie as good as Infinity War, a movie that good. You got to have Grogu in it. It's just the end of the story. Unless you're going to do what James Mangold does, that's a different taste, and you're going to do it. And this is exactly what they're doing. And, I really believe that part of all of this is they're going to retcon. I don't know how they're doing it, but just like they retconned Maul getting cut in half in the Phantom Menace, you're talking about people complaining about Lucas. He was the, it's his vision. And he actually said back then, if you remember, Lale, Maul is dead. He got cut in half. He was quoted, he's never coming back. But he got so much backlash with it, he found a way to bring Maul back because it was that was the second dumbest move ever in Star Wars. We all know what the first one was. I don't want to digress.
Right.
But they will find a way somehow. I don't know how Favreau and Filoni are going to do it. I do believe they're going to use the Ahsoka series and the World Between Worlds
to
do something with Grogu and Luke. But I feel like they're going to fix something with Luke. They're not going to erase the sequels. The sequels are there. They're showing you that they're committed to Rey. She's going to be there. But you know what? I just think they're going to, that's what I think they're going to do.
You know what I want them to commit to, though? Really? I want them to commit to making this right.
Oh, yeah. God, John Boyega.
I want them to commit to making this right.
And I think
if the rumors are true, if the rumors are true.
Back.
Yeah, see that, and that's what I'm saying, right? They're saying that he might be coming back. If the rumors are true, like right now it's speculation because we don't know, but I'm erring heavily on the side that he will possibly be back. But they're going to make this right. They need to make this right. Like literally they need to make this right. They need to give Finn his redemption story. They need to make this right. Literally.
And here's the thing. While they're doing this, and then they're doing the Favreau film, and then they're doing the other film, like you all were saying, there's going to be so many shows on Disney Plus as well. You got the Ahsoka series. You're going to have the Acolyte. You're going to have all the animated series. I don't know if they spilled everything in Celebration. They may be saving some stuff for May 4th. But, they're supposedly going to be bringing back Donnie Glover. And you got the Lando series, which would be absolutely phenomenal. You got the Knights of the Old Republic. And they're probably going to have so many other films that are going to be coming out, shows coming out. The better fill trucks with gold. Can't see coming back.
I was reading that in the chat, trying so hard not to laugh.
Hey, they better bring back some bricks. They better throw them gold bricks.
They brought Harrison Ford back, and he said he would never come back.
Yeah.
And
but he came back to have his character killed. He was like, the only way I'm coming back is you got to kill me because I got some other films to film coming up.
This man.
Yeah, money's if Disney could fork it over.
Yeah.
How about Oscar Isaac?
Well, I think that's going to happen too. I really think that it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be a course correct for certain characters. They're going to find a way to do it without erasing everything. But I just think that, there was a definite missed opportunity from Finn, the way they actually built up that character in Force Awakens. You know what I mean? It was such a great opportunity. And the route that they took with the next two films, he played the back. He became a joke. And I was like, nah, we can't have that. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. Here's the thing. It's like, it wasn't the fault of the actors. Again, I blame a lot of that on the writing and the direction, because again, they had no ideas. They had no type of plan. You know what I mean? And that's what destroyed. And I'm with you. What they did to Luke in The Force Awakens. Here's the thing. Like, they never, not Force Awakens, but The Last Jedi. There was never any, I don't want to, you can't give me flashbacks and expect me to basically tie and lean on that. You can't, because it's not the way you can't give us that version of Luke without a really deep, methodic explanation. I want to know why he did this. And it wasn't explained well. And then, and a lot of people said this, you never brought the Trinity together. You never basically gave us Luke, Han, and Leia together.
Yeah,
there was never an opportunity for
that. I don't know how
that was that was a sin. That was a sin. It's almost, honestly, it's almost unforgivable.
You never did that. So, but I say that because what I want right now is the simple fact that, and not what I want, but what I'm hoping is that people will welcome that film because, again, the like the biggest thing that I hate, because again, I'm just gonna put it this way: I love my mother. She's one of the strongest women I know. One of the strongest women I know. I live in a home right now full of women. My girl, the children, they're all, and they have beautiful personalities. All of us have a mom or a mother that we were raised and we watched how strong she was in the household. Even when your father was out working, you knew how strong your mother was. Even when she was working and had to come home and still do things for your ass. Strong woman, representation there, right? Right? So I don't want this whole narrative created that a woman can't lead. That if a woman is placed into a certain aspect, if she's basically placed into a role, that she's that she's less than a man. Like what?
Well, I thought Ray carried that whole sequel trilogy and did a phenomenal job. And that's why I'm so glad that she's back. Honestly, I think that it's just the right choice. I mean, she's, uh, amazing. I think
I just think the narrative,
the
needs
Luke thing was
change.
horrible, dude, and
Yeah,
that narrative does need to change.
That the Luke thing was horrible, but I think even going forward beyond that, because the thing is to change that what's already been done, and even Mark Hamill was like, you know what, it's been done. There's only so much they can do. I think his redemption came in the form of what we actually got from,
The Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian, and that's what I wanted to see. And I'm glad a lot of people are bringing this up, because I actually saw this too, and I like that you actually say that. Could be done right. Ellen Ripley, definitely. When you have Ellen Ripley, when you have a Carrie
Connor.
Fisher, Leia, when you have a Sarah Connor, you have strong representation of women who are able to lead and carry films like no other and do their damn thing. There should be no complaints. And the thing is, I just think that now that the social media and the way things are right now, people have a platform to speak. They're doing it in the most derogatory and that what you told me earlier is still sitting in my brain before we came on the show. I'm not going to say it and repeat it, but I'm pissed.
Oh,
I'm pissed.
I'll send you the screenshots.
I'm pissed. What was said, that right there was bullshit. But that just lets you know that keyboard warriors are really strong, and that's what happens. But I just think that this whole narrative that a woman is unable, I don't get it. Like that a film fails, because it's, this whole, and we all talk about it, the word woke. I'm so sick. That word, like I've literally like unsubbed to a lot of like certain channels that I did sub to because that's what it became.
I'll say this, Lil. The Force Awakens globally made over $2 billion and did just fine the way that it was. I'm being honest. Really, there was no issue there, and she was absolutely phenomenal. And again, I know we go into people want to pick on this. It's this. If it's not Daisy Ridley, they put someone else in there, they'll complain about that. If it's or put someone else in there, they'll complain about that. And I know where you're going with it. I don't mean to digress with it, but again, I really think it was one problem that they did, and that whole direction too. How do you get like Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams? They're not allowed to consult together. I have no idea what Ryan's doing, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to watch it like you guys to know what I have to do to create Rise of Skywalker. And then, you've seen some interviews where I don't remember verbatim what he said, but, I've got to be thinking about it to myself if I'm J.J. Abrams watching that, saying, holy crap, what do I do with this? I like, what do I do? But honestly, what you're talking about there, comments that, Daisy Ridley, Mary Sue can't lead. It's absolute nonsense, and it should be immediately debunked. The movie made $2 billion. She's a superstar. And this whole thought that, you hear, sometimes the thoughts of, oh, you can't be a Skywalker. She's not Skywalker. Sure she is. I have a nephew who has the family last name because he's adopted from Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely my nephew. Absolutely deserving of the name. No one can tell me that he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And if Luke and Leia wanted to adopt her and she's a Skywalker, that's the end of the story. And here's
That's what
the
it
thing
is.
at the end of the damn day. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
No one tells you to have a membership to Disney Plus.
Nobody does.
Exactly.
Nobody does. Like at the end of the day, nobody does. But it's just like I say that, and it just kind of goes back to what I've been saying. Like, are we, and I want you to, anybody could chime in on this. Are we living in a space where, because it's, I forget who they talk to. I just have this stuff for eye candy. Sorry about that, because I love Jenner. So, if I'm sorry, like you'll learn.
Oh no,
I am a Jen Erso super fan. Everybody in the chat has been trying to get me to sell off both my figures. It's not going to work. They trying to get me to give it away. Yeah.
In my top 3.
Yeah. Top 3 of all time.
It's my top 3 of all time.
Yeah. I didn't like the way, there was, and I love, Jay's Good Morning Grail, but I didn't like the way he was handling that figure. I'm just sorry. I didn't like it. I didn't like that he, you know what I mean? I just had a problem with that. But anyway,
right here, you got Felicity Jones.
Well, I just want to say, I
awesome.
He said I did. But no, I mean, with this movie was done well.
Very well.
See,
it was a masterpiece.
See, here we go. This movie was a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot of people's top 3. It really is. It's in a lot of people's top 3. And this, basically is pretty much a female-led movie. Jen was amazing. She carried the film, and her story was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, and going back to Daisy Ridley, I do not agree. And I think it's sick, and I think it's idiotic, and I think it's cowardly as all hell to mess with an actress and to send her all kinds of hate mail, death threats, and all that. It is some cowardly, small, little dick energy bullshit. Yes, I said it. Sorry.
Yes, I love it.
It really is. She did not deserve that. Now, when we talking about character and characters and people writing for these characters, personally, I feel that Rey, which I think has the potential of being a great character, was underwritten in those sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Along with Finn, they were underwritten. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody has to agree with me on that. That's just my opinion. That's it. I don't. But here's the thing. I welcome, and I've said this on Eric's show, Leo. I've said it on your show as well. I welcome them to take another stab at it with those characters and to do them justice. I welcome it. I want to see it, because with this right here, this young lady on the screen right here, she sold that movie and carried that movie and was a great, and her sacrifice and everything was so damn believable. And to hear people say that, oh, females can't let a movie, what the hell? It's right here. The proof is in the pudding. We have one right here. So what are you talking about? But also going back to the creators, because I also say the creators also have a hand in this anger from the fandom. They do, because when you rush and you don't have a plan, and they did not have a plan in the sequels, I don't know how you get all these actors together, all these wonderful, beautiful, most talented people with a company that has more money than God, and you don't have a plan. And you have one director doing this, and you have this other director, oh, just throw the lightsaber away. We're just going to do what we want to do. And what the kid, this little kid with the broom, what does all that mean? What the hell were they thinking?
Yeah.
That pisses me off. I'm sorry. Sorry to go up for a rant, but it really pisses me off. Writing. And the writing could have been, and you don't have, and like I said, it doesn't have to be Shakespeare. It doesn't have to be The Godfather. Okay,
No plan.
just give us something that is cohesive and makes sense. Make me feel for Ray. My best friend wrote, and I can't tell you his ideas because he may be talking to some people about it, and they're probably going to go in this direction. He gave me a beautiful story of Ray, Grogu, and Finn in the new Jedi Order and what happens. The story he told me was just a little write-up. He said, "This is the idea I'm thinking I'm doing." It had me in tears because it's something we never seen before. And they tried to touch on it, but they didn't go there. For some reason, they just didn't go there in The Last Jedi. I mean, in Rise of Skywalker. They just didn't go there. But if they would have taken it here, I think it's a way to redeem all those characters.
Yeah.
So I welcome it. I welcome it.
I definitely do. You know, it's, you know, we talk about basically how, you know, I think nobody got it worse than Kelly Marie Tran for her interpretation of, you know, Rose Tico.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was sad the way she got. I don't even know if she's back on social media, to be quite honest.
No, she's not.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like literally, when it was crazy because when they announced at Celebration that, you know, Daisy Ridley was coming back to play the role, she did this photo shoot. And I was telling y'all this the other day. She did a photo shoot. I think it was for Variety. I don't know what it was for, something that was, or Esquire. I don't know. She did a photo shoot that had nothing to do with any type of film. It was just a photo shoot. It had nothing to do with a film. Like it was just a photo shoot of fashion, whatever. People got under that photo and dragged her because of the announcement. Like literally. I got into that post, that same post, and I didn't give a damn who said anything, and y'all can say whatever. They can say what they want. They can drag, because I mean, I can take it. I got my big boy pants on. I hear the shit all the time. I just took it upon myself to say, literally, blatantly, you all are a bunch of dickheads. And I just left it at that with no further explanation, because it's the dumbest thing that you can ever do.
No.
Dumbest thing that you can ever do. We talked about this earlier. If Ahmed Best, if they released Phantom Menace now, during this era of social media, platform, keyboard warriors, this man would have probably lost his life. And that's on some real shit. Like literally would have lost his life on some real shit, bro. This is what I'm saying. The Star Wars universe, bro. I'm saying this because of the simple fact that it's something that we love. We've loved all our life. That we've gravitated to. Everything about the IP we love, from collecting, from books, graphic novels, film, everything. We love this universe. But if we continue, and if it continues down the road that it's at right now, bro, directors, writers, there's a lot of people, they are struggling to actually even bring people on board. Not because of the simple fact that they don't believe in the IP, but half of it is because of the fandom. Like literally. But people don't want to own up to it, and they get defensive over it. Yes, I agree. The writing, it starts with the writing. The writing has to make sense. The writing has to bring these characters to life. It has to support the narrative. The directing also, and having a plan, has to work. But at the same time, we have to be supportive of that vision. If we want it to progress, we have to be supportive of that vision. Support the writing if it's good. Support the directing if it's good. We have to support that, because that's the only way that this ship is going to keep going forward. Like literally. And that's all I'm saying. Like a lot of people were like, yo, it's okay we can all have, yes, you can have opinions, and it can be constructive. Even if we don't agree, I value your opinion. But if your way of being constructive is to attack an actor or tell the actor that they wish they were dead or that they were shit and all that other stuff, that right there, bro, I'm never going to agree with.
No.
It's never going to work for me. It isn't. It isn't.
And
I
it's
didn't
just,
honestly, I didn't know what a Mary suit was until Star Wars dropped. I really never heard terminology before.
I mean,
Yeah,
people
that's
that,
awesome.
yeah, people that, you know, that talk about, you know, saying things about this poor, you know, this young actress right here is just, it's ugly, and they just, they already had that ugliness inside them, and they just wanted something to throw it out on. That's how it comes off to me. It could have been, I mean, stuff like that. Just, yeah, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach, bro. Because nobody deserves that, especially when, you know, being in that, you know, being, you know, I've been an actor at one point and done a couple of, you know, couple of roles. Sometimes you're just given what you're given, and you got to
You know,
turn shit to chocolate often. You know,
you know,
and it's not their fault, you know, for the role. I mean, and at the end of the day, we're just people. But it's so easy to just, you know, be on social media or be behind these, you know, these computers and just type and just say all types of outlandish shit. But then you got to see that person in person. It's like, oh, sorry, I didn't.
Is
So,
this really
yeah.
true? Lord of the Rings fans defended their franchise from Rings of Power, and now Amazon isn't making season 2?
Yeah,
Really?
I read about that.
Really?
wow.
Didn't they spend $3 billion or $3 million or something like that? The May was it like a 300
The
million or
show
something
is
like
I
that?
great.
love that series too.
The series
Wow,
is great.
it's phenomenal. Wow,
Wow.
that's interesting. Well, you know, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I have I live with a bunch of women as well, including my three adult daughters who are huge, huge prequel fans and ginormous sequel fans and Ray fans. Um, you know, and they took the stand that, you know, when they're on social media, and two of them are professional MMA fighters.
Mhm.
They see stuff about Kelly Marie Tran, Daisy Ridley. They don't give that forum the business. They just don't even pay it attention,
Mhm.
and they won't give them you know, any of the ratings and whatnot. And quite frankly, I do the same thing at Six Scale Cantina. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
anything that comes in negative like that or that type of talk, they could just get the heck out. I don't need the subscriber. I don't need the subscribers. I don't need any of that. I'm not gonna, you know, promote it or entertain it. You know what I do, Lael. It's all about spilling coffee and having some fun.
Yeah.
People know that they can get that with Star Wars and this stuff. And if they don't like it and they'd rather have more of you know, a different flavor, there's plenty of other YouTube things that'll bash this or bash that all over the place, way outside of
Yeah.
this community. Go have fun and go ahead and feast on it. But for me, I'm not going to go ahead and stand with it and entertain
Definitely.
that. You know, it's just it's sad. And I remember when the hate really started happening, you know, during the sequels. I was with you, Jay, when you were talking about after Revenge.
Mhm.
I almost walked away from Star Wars myself because I couldn't stand, you know, hearing that type of stuff on the internet. But I'll tell you one thing that was very interesting to me, because publicly outside of the internet, you know, friends, places where I would work, um, Walmart, wasn't hearing that much bad stuff about the sequels.
Mhm.
It was fine. It wasn't. It's almost like it's a certain sect on the internet that comes in like a bunch of nanobots and infects and tries to, you know, push this stuff through. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that or that type of thing, but I don't nearly sense the same amount as you would do on the internet. And so I think it's important to, you know, recognize that where it comes from and maybe
Yeah.
not uh support it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's very true. So what I want to do right now, because like I said, we're going to close out like this. I'm gonna start with you, Nilda. Again, Appetite for Collectibles. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. The link is in the description. Make sure you just subscribe, give her a like, watch all the content. IG, and you too. But I want to start with this. I'm gonna start with you first. One positive thing that you think we're going to get going forward.
There's so much, but I'm with Aries. I'm putting my whole collection on Ahsoka. That's my positive thing. I've been a fan. I've been a fan. Like I have Ashley Eckstein's signature tattooed on me. She signed my leg.
That's
like
what I'm
I've
talking
been
about.
an Ahsoka fan for 15 years.
Yes.
That's probably the second longest relationship I've ever but yeah, that's it's my whole thing. I'm everything that I think is positive that's going to be coming out of is Ahsoka, and I think that, and I feel like it'll probably give people some sense of relief that Star Wars is trying to do something different, and they are going to be bringing stuff. And yeah, you know what? Sorry, it happens to be some badass women that are going to be on the show, and they were badass on the shows as well. So might as well just bring them in as live action. So my whole entire thing is for Ahsoka. That's all I've been looking forward to. Like as soon as The Mandalorian ended, I literally posted like everywhere on social media. I'm like, okay, now Ahsoka. Everybody wait for August.
Yeah. Exactly. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Ahsoka right now. I mean, again, I'm getting teased with Visions. I can't wait for Visions, but that's just a warm up for Ahsoka in August. I cannot wait. That first episode is going to be a celebration. I'm taking off that entire day, so I can watch it multiple times.
I watched the trailer like 20 times and I cried every time.
Exactly.
I was like hugging my collection, like, oh my God.
Yes.
And then it was more memorable for me because I had just met Rosario Dawson at MegaCon and like experienced this whole entire thing with her. And then you guys got to go see her in Celebration. So it was just like, it was a majestical thing for all fans out there. That you got to experience this. And then you're watching the trailer. And mind you, like I was in Florida time watching London's time, like with one eye open, and I'm like, oh my God, the trailer, and I'm like running out to my living room and like setting up my cameras and recording my reaction. And I felt bad because the majority of my reaction, I was crying, I had boogers everywhere. It was a joyous celebration. It was to a point that I was just like, oh my God, I need to pre-order every Ahsoka hot toy, which I already have one. And then I pre-ordered like 3 more. And then like my 2 guy friends convinced me to buy the premium format. And I'm just like, you fuckers are going to make me go broke.
That premium format.
Fire.
It's a great piece.
Great when we saw it at Star Wars Celebrations in LA and at Anaheim, I was there with it was me and Mario. I stood there for an hour. For an entire hour looking at that thing. I just analyzing everything for an hour because it is that amazing, bro. Like literally, it's worth it. It is going to be worth it once you get it.
My friend picked it up and they like FaceTimed me and they were like, hey, do you want to watch me unbox it? I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's like watching soft porn. I was like, yes, unrobe her. Put this on. Change the face. That's how excited I got that I'm like, crap. I'm like, when it arrives here at my house, I'm going to be like looking around like, I hope nobody's watching me right now.
Yeah, hell yeah, definitely. So amazing. But yes, all bets on Ahsoka. I am right there with you, Jay. Positive that you hope to see going forward, that you want to see going forward, that you think we're going to see going forward.
Oh man, great show tonight, man. Definitely. Thank you for having me here. Positive. Yeah. You got a second brother.
Hell yeah. You're getting a lot of love out there. You definitely getting some love out there. Straight up. People love your presence on here.
Absolutely. Man, I gotta agree with Ahsoka. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. And honestly, that I of the slate, the James Mangold film, I think that's going to be the next big thing. For
Yeah.
some reason. I think
Yeah.
that will shut everybody up. I think it is because it kind of should, because it's kind of like a clean slate, and I think that's also good for Star Wars, because Mando was that at one point. Mando was a clean slate, and there was people there was rumblings in the beginning. People, it's slow. I'm like, it just started. You're always going to get those people, but then it turned out to be something real good. So I think having that again, the James Mangold film, I think that I'm really excited what we can get from that. But yeah, but Ahsoka all the way. I can't wait for August.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I'm right there with you. I can't wait for Ahsoka, Visions, Skeleton Crew, Acolytes. There's a lot of positives coming, towards the future. Aries, what about you, man?
And this is you got to repeat the question. This is all awesome stuff, but
What do you basically one positive thing you think we're going to get for the future of Star Wars with everything that we know that's coming? One positive thing for you.
I think it's honestly, I think there's so many positive things, but I'm going to have a giant smile on my face very, very soon watching this Hot Toys action figure that's going to get announced go to #1 best-selling when we get the Dark Side Ray with Daisy Ridley. I'm just saying I'm going to have a big smile, and that's what I'm looking forward to, baby.
Yo, if we get that,
Dude,
it's
we're gonna get it now.
It'll be
back.
It'll be on wait list.
Yep. Quick.
I remember what is it called? When Commander Cody first came out.
Yep.
And everybody was like, "Oh, who wants Cody?" It's waitlisted.
Yep.
I bought him as soon as I saw him. It's completely waitlisted.
Yep.
Every figure that people think is gonna flop, it ends up being the most waitlisted figure that you have to be on a list to hop on the wait list to then be considered to be on the wait list.
Exactly. Because that's true, because Cody did get waitlisted, but Rex never did. That's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
That's true.
That's crazy. Like, that's insane. I remember when the Resistance Ray dropped. That was wasted. They waitlisted immediately. The only reason why I got it is because I added myself to the wait list, and as soon as it converted, I was like, yeah, I want it. Let's go. Let's go.
Nelda, I can tell that you spill your coffee a lot, so we've got to get you on the cantina.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You definitely do, bro. And I'm so glad. I thank you so much for coming on tonight. Like, literally, I do. Thank you for coming on.
This is a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. It was such an amazing...
I'm down for whenever. I just, I'll be honest, I was always so petrified getting on any shows that was more than like the hot toy topics, because I still remember this to this day. 2020, for when I first started dropping my channel, I had gotten my first 2 hot toys, and when you're a girl, you want to be gentle and grab things. And my first hot toy was what it was called. It was a Maul from the Han Solo film, which I still have him up here.
Yeah.
He's over there in the corner.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
That's a good one. That's a
dope one.
And it's the best one. I love it. And when I first got it, like in my video unboxing, I grabbed it, and I guess I grabbed the arm too quick, and I didn't know. I thought I broke it. I was like, oh my God, I broke the doll. And my friends are like, it's not a doll, it's a toy. And I was like, I knew it's a toy. I was like, I just wanted to call it a doll because I'm a girl. But little did I know, if you insert it correctly, it goes back in.
Yeah.
But I got so much freaking heat for that. Oh, wow. People saying I was rough, and I was like, I'm just learning. I was like, they're freaking toys. I'm trying to get used to it.
And that the thing is, it's like there are, what I love about the community, like I definitely got to get you on the show with Luminara, because there's a lot of female collectors out there that are killing it, that have an incredible collection. You know what I mean? So definitely, you're amongst great company in this community, because literally they are.
And I like that.
Oh my God, like it's so many out there. I've even got my girl, like she's the one, her first figure was the armor, and she posed her and everything. And her second figure right now that she's gotten her eye on is Ahsoka. So she's trying to get her hands on an Ahsoka. I said, look, if we find one, which we can, there's one out there that we can get. Then I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get her an Ahsoka. I'm going to personally get her an Ahsoka, because I know she wants one. So I'm going to get my hands on that for her. But yeah, there's so I mean these things like literally. What is that? Charlie the Unicorn is saying, "Uh-oh." He said, "Yo, bring her on Figure Flex Friday." Yo, I'm telling you.
What's Figure Flex Friday?
So Figure Flex Friday is a show that I do every Friday. And it's basically it's for everyone. It's basically for the community. The community gets a chance to show off their collections. Like they take photos of their figures. Very creative. We pick a winner each week that goes in the pen for like our ultimate Figure Flex 4 winner. So there's a lot. Like it's such a dope community, and like it's a dope show. Definitely. Like you're gonna like right now, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start getting a lot of requests from people wanting you to get on their show or come on. So it's gonna happen once you get on Aries show, brother cousin show, my show, any other show. Then yeah, definitely. You already know. So
I love it. This was a community that I always wanted to, like get into more because of the fact that I love hot toys more. Like, don't get me wrong. Like my first love was always the vintage. I still have my original Ewoks that have never been opened, and I got them graded, and they're just like chilling here in my corner. That's like my, like my holy grail. But ever since I dived into hot toys, I was just like, oh my God, I'm diving myself into a whole different dimension that I didn't want to get into. And I ended up having one to now I have 15 in total. I just don't have them all fully displayed.
Wow.
But
yeah, definitely is.
That's how it goes.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah.
And then Lael got me into Iron Man figures, and I don't know what to do now. And Batman and TX19.
The sad part is like there's a local comic book shop by us, and I always see like some of the Marvel and DC stuff, and I'm a huge freaking love Watchmen. It's my favorite comic book of all time. I have the smiley tattooed on me and everything. I've read all the covers. And I've seen some of the figures for it, and I'm just like, damn, I don't want to dive into this world.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. So I'm telling you, and the thing is, you can't say that amongst a bunch of enablers. Number one being,
I know I see his background.
Best of the best. Good morning, Grails.
Good morning, Grails.
Good morning, Grails tomorrow. So yeah, definitely. You wanna, so definitely. But anyway, thank you for being here. Thank everybody on this panel. Again, all the links to everybody's channel is in the description. A lot of great stuff coming up. I know, Jay, you got Good Morning Grails tomorrow, right? Is that correct?
I don't. I think I may not be doing Good Morning Grails tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't have, I'm just doing the review on that right
Okay,
there.
so you're gonna do that tomorrow?
Yeah. I was thinking about doing a live stream with it, but it's just too much. That would be a horrible lot. Yeah, that's just too much. So
it's a lot to do, bro. It's a lot to
I'm intimidated by
too damn big.
Dude, the box is ridiculous. I don't even know how I'm gonna review it.
That box is huge.
It's ridiculous.
And heavy as shit.
Yeah.
And heavy as shit, like straight up. Like it's a lot of people that got theirs today. You got yours. I know Rich got his.
Yep. Rich. Damn it. Uncommon Flex.
Uncommon Flex got his. Yeah. So there's a lot going on out there right now. So again, but yeah, best of the best. What, Thursday?
Yes, sir. Best
of the best Thursday. There we go. So I can't wait for that. Aries, what you got going on, man?
Shoot. Well, 6 scale raw earlier tonight. If you want to catch up on it,
hell yeah,
it was on there. We had Lael on there. We had Jay on there. Brother Cousins. Market chart show for this week was okay. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's just such a fun night. Going that and going to this show here. New market chart show is out. I put it out yesterday. We'll have Drunk on Coffee coming out sometime later this week, for sure. Then something starts happening next week. May 1st is Monday. You're going to get the market chart show this weekend. It's going to kick off the May 1st week. 6 scale raw next Monday. So you don't want to miss that because that's going to kick off the May 4th week. I'm sure I'll be on a bunch of shows on the May 4th week because, everyone's asking me to be on there. Of course, Jay, I am yours on May 4th. That in particular night there. And then I'm probably going to do something in the morning or maybe the early afternoon very early afternoon on May 5th. I'm not going to try and go May 4th during the day because I think everybody will be doing that. But you guys will be hearing a lot from me during the May 4th week. And then, of course, we'll cap it off the next week and then May 8th. So that's it. 6 scale cantina, baby.
Definitely. Thank you for that. As always, appetite for collectibles. We got anything going on with you?
What is it called? So for the May 4th weekend, the show that I have with my two buddies, it's called Sithcast. We're going to be doing like a May the 4th thing. And then afterwards, I'm going to be driving to Fort Myers to be going to like a small little con and hanging out with Tate Fletcher, the heavy Mando himself.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, he was on our show last week.
Yes.
He was like a shit ton of fun. So I'm actually going to be hanging out with him. We're going to be like getting him to do a couple signings. I probably will do a live stream with him.
Okay.
And then later on, I'm just going to be chilling and hanging back and watching all the hot toys dropping and seeing which ones I want. And then hopefully crossing my fingers, just saving up money because in June, we're going to have another con down here in Florida called Florida SuperCon.
Okay.
And they're going to be doing the 15-year Clone Wars reunion. So I'm trying to do like the huge photo thing with all three. It's going to be the voice actor for Anakin, the voice actor for Obi-Wan, and the legend herself, Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka Tano.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to be hanging out with those three.
Definitely. That's gonna be dope. You said this is in June?
Yeah, it's in June. And I think they just got the whole cast of Shazam to be on there.
Okay.
Wow.
And I think like two or three people from Cobra Kai.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll send you the link so you can check it out.
Uh-oh.
That's awesome.
Hold on. Is this? Hold on. Yeah, I thought somebody was playing around. They was like N1. They don't N1 drop. I thought start playing. If that happened, I'm hitting Mario up immediately. Definitely, if something like that hit, I would hit him up immediately. So straight up. But anyway, somebody was like, something dropped. He's like, Riz, nah.
Oh, there he is. He's
said, Riz, nah, bro, no M1. Mario's out there. He's like checking. So we got this whole thing. If they drop the M1 Starfighter, then our boy Mario has to shave his beard. Like, definitely.
It was one that was gonna drop, and they've been saying it's gonna drop soon.
Mm-hmm. We don't, as of right now, from what the last rumor that I heard is that they shelved it. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it's going to go.
I know two companies are trying to make it. I know that Sideshow is two and Iron Studios. The only thing with the Iron Studios one, the bottom base of it just literally looks like my shirt.
Right?
What it looks like. It looks like my shirt.
Definitely, right? So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, what do we got coming up? Okay, what I got Say What Wednesday, of course. If there's an episode or if there's anything that drops, of course, I'll do another episode of Corner this week. We have Figure Flex Friday. Also Collectors Lounge International. Comic Book Talk Friends is going to be moved. It's no longer going to be on a Monday. It's actually going to be ran on a Sunday from now on. Because like I said, the Monday slot is real rough, especially with everything going on. And I don't like really congesting everything with Aries and everybody else. So Aries has that space. He owns the Monday night. So I definitely want to make sure that he has that space. So I'm moving Comic Book Talk with Friends. I just felt that tonight we needed to have discussion on the heels of everything that we got from Mandalorian and everything going forward. But anyway, yes, so just a couple things coming up, but I'll just actually keep y'all on the now. Next week we got May the 4th. I'll be doing a May the 4th show around 12 o'clock that afternoon, just to talk about some things, highlights, see what we actually get. And there's some things in the work. I might have actually a special guest. I'm not going to say from which show, but there's going to be a special guest that I might have on the show coming up, but I'll let everybody know once it gets close to that time because I don't want to set expectations. It's in case it doesn't happen. But looking forward, like right now, it seems like it might happen. So definitely I'll let you know. But yeah, thank you guys for basically being here with us, everybody out in the chat. It's been a great discussion. Again, the whole point of this is to kind of help to reinvigorate the fandom and to reinvigorate our love for what it is that it is, Star Wars itself. Hopefully we helped you do that. Hopefully there's a better understanding. Again, we can all have opinions, differences of opinions, but at the end of it is just coming together, respecting each other, respecting Star Wars, and just keeping an optimism that they can make it better. And I think that they will. So definitely, man, thank you so much, everybody out there. Until next time, peace out, love, and all that stuff. Again, have a good evening, good night. I know I will. But yeah, keep it entertained, keep it classy. Next episode of The Corner. Talk to y'all later. We out. Peace.